Hey guys, my name is Matsumo, and today I wanted to talk about the semi-automatic rifles for the Recon class because recently I've been getting a fair amount of questions along the lines of, I really like these weapons, they're a lot of fun to use up close to medium range, but as a sniper and as a sniper weapon, they're not very good at a distance. So do you think that they should get a buff for long range combat so that you're a little bit more effective at those engagements? And so for today, I want to explain why, first of all, it's not going to happen, why the semi-automatic rifles are fine as they are, and if they did get a buff, it would completely destroy and make the bolt-action rifles completely useless. So first off, the main reason why you pick up a bolt-action rifle in this game, you guys all know this, is for its long-range killing potential and its high damage. You get a headshot, no matter what distance you are from the target, you're going to drop them in one hit. But now let's say you transferred on over some of that long-range killing potential to the semi-automatic rifles. What would be your incentive to pick up the bolt actions at that point? You're gonna have a smaller magazine size, and you're gonna have a slower rounds per minute. I mean, DICE kind of has a rock paper scissors type of mentality when they are not only creating their classes, but when they are trying to balance out their weapons. This is the reason why the bolt action rifles function the way that they do, because they are very good at very long range combat, like 100 meters out, 200 meters out. They are king. Like, they are going to dominate every other weapon on the field. But when you put those weapons up close and personal, they're going to be at a disadvantage. Now, for the semi-automatic rifles, they kind of have their own little niche where they are going to be great at kind of medium to long range, like 60 meters out. They really excel in those engagements. You get up close and personal, they're going to do a lot better than the bolt action rifles, but you try to go toe to toe with someone who was using an SV98 at 200 meters out, you're not going to stand a chance. And it's that type of balance that DICE is, I'm assuming, going to do for Battlefield 4, so I wouldn't expect any changes there. But now, that isn't to say that you can't do well with these guns at a distance, and hopefully today's video is kind of an illustration of that. Sure, I wasn't playing 200 meters away from the objective or away from the action. It was more around 50 to 60 meters or more of the medium game. But as long as I was accurate, and as long as my shots were firing true, I was destroying the enemy team. And the way I kind of approached this play style was to play more of a support role, where I'm not going to get directly on the capture point. I'm using a sniper scope with the M417 while I can still hip fire down in sticky situations. That's great about the semi-automatic rifles. Those engagements, I'm still going to be at a disadvantage if I'm going against someone who's using an AEK or a higher rate of fire weapon. So I played at a distance where I felt comfortable. I had a great line of sight over the objective. I could play as a mobile spawn for my team so that if they did die, they can quickly get back onto those points, and then just took everyone out that moved or got near them. And I was also taking advantage of the MAV, and I don't think enough people understand the potential of this gadget, and I honestly believe it's one of the best in the game. A lot of people like to place it on the ground. They like to place this on top of buildings to kind of act as a motion sensor so that if any enemy moves within it, they're going to show up on the minimap, and that's great, but I even still don't think enough people even do that enough. But if you want to take it a step further and you want to have these moments where you feel like a complete badass, fly this up for a little bit. Maybe get into a little cubby hole where you are trying to push up on an objective. You know that there's enemies around, but you're not exactly sure where they are. Fly this up for a couple of seconds, kind of survey the area, spot everyone, so now that they have that nice triangle above their head and they're on the minimap, jump out for a bit and then proceed to take everyone out. It gives you such an advantage over the enemy team. You didn't have to peek your head out. You didn't have to peek around the corner, leaving yourself exposed. You were up in an MAV. Who cares if that goes down? I mean, sure, you don't want it to, because then if you want to jump back in it, you're not going to have it at your disposal, but you weren't leaving yourself exposed to everyone else trying to peek that corner, leaving yourself either to get spotted or just get taken out by anyone else that's on the field. Now you have all the information, you know where everyone is, and you can proceed to just pick every single one of them off. And when you're able to pull it off, you feel like a badass, but not only that, you're helping your team, but your kill death ratio is going to skyrocket. When I was doing this, I was at the top of the scoreboard every single match, and my kills to death were insane. And I know that kill-death ratios aren't the most important thing in Battlefield. You want to play the objective. But as I said, since you are up in the MAV, you are supporting your team, you're spotting everyone, you're spotting the enemy for everyone on your team. It's not like you're not helping people out by doing this. It's not a selfish act. And in fact, they will probably thank you for doing that because now they have an advantage over the enemies that you just spotted. And so, if you can't tell, I highly recommend trying this out. And if you do want to, I have some kind of tips for you. And that is when you pop in the MAV, you're up there kind of surveying the area, fly backwards from the action a little bit so that when you jump out of it, the MAV plops behind you or kind of around your allies so that the enemy can't destroy it. There were a lot of times when I first started doing this that I would kind of fly more closely to where all the action was, and while I had a better vantage point over the battlefield and I could spot maybe one target that I normally wouldn't have, when I would try to jump back into it to go survey another area, well, it would be destroyed at that point and I wouldn't have it at my fingertips. So when you're up there, just fly back a little bit, and when it plops down, it will be in a safe location and you'll be ready for round 2. But yeah, guys, that is about it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed these little tips and the conversation that we had. But until tomorrow, guys, have a good one and take it easy.